First question I really wanted to start off with, and it's going to lead in today's topic, but has anyone else been like walking past hospitals or even driving past hospitals or healthcare facilities and noticing that, the doctors, the nurses, the techs and the aides, maybe across the street on the corner, um, lighting it up? I don't know what's going on. I live in New York and I have never been so bombarded with medical professionals feeling the need to indulge during the day. I don't get it. I don't trust it. I prefer my doctor and my nurse to be sober when they're doing anything. So I don't know. So I don't know. It could just be me. Like I said, I'm in New York. I don't know what's going on around the rest of the country, but since cannabis has become legal here, it just seems like everybody feels the need that during working hours that they must light up. And that just seems strange to me. No judgment. Listen. But when it comes to certain professions, there's a little judgment. So if you've been seeing that, let me know. Put it in the comments. Because this is another reason why we need to figure some stuff out about our healthcare. And so, um, especially as it relates to the US. And let's just go ahead and dive into it. There's some facts, there's some figures that we're going to go over. But what it boils down to is that when it comes to the United States, our healthcare system is at the bottom of the list in comparison to what they would call first world countries or industrialized countries. The US ranks 69th in the world when it comes to quality healthcare. 69th in the world, and we're supposed to be this um, world power, and so many people want to come here and live here and move here, but when it comes to healthcare, we currently rank 69th. I kind of think that number's going to go down. But yeah, and we spend more money for this poor or lower quality healthcare that we are, we have to have, right? So even though we are led to believe that our healthcare is far more superior, those who have traveled around the world, those who have had family members travel or live in other countries, know the truth. Know that there are other systems that are far superior to ours. And there's been a segment of the US population that has known this, and they have been hooked on game for a while. However, we, and when I say we, I mean we are, once again, last in line. And so today's topic is really it's less about moving abroad, right? But it's more to let you know what our options are for healthcare abroad. Even if you don't move abroad, even if you go as a tourist or if you go as a visitor, medical tourism is a big thing. And so as we enter into our ninth live of the Stay Ready So We Don't Have to Get Ready series, I think this is a really, really good one. And I'm only going to go over 7 countries today. There's a plethora of countries that you can look into, but these are countries that I either have done extensive research for, have lived in, or have known people who have had services done in these countries. And what we're going to do, we have them listed in categories and comparison costs as it relates to the US. So we're going to get into that in a second. But before we do that, and a comment was made today. It's so interesting because it was one of my bullets for today's conversation, based on the unknown and what may happen rather quickly with healthcare here in this country. Please go ahead, get your appointments, make sure your parents and your children get checked out, get whatever medicines are necessary. Now, I'm not saying you have to do it tomorrow because, nothing's really going to be able to take change until next year anyway, but have that as a priority. Put that as part of your plan, especially with our senior population. Make sure that this Medicare thing is not a friend of the new people coming to town, and it's taxing on the economy. And this is still a capitalistic society, and they want to shred those numbers. So just prioritize getting all your appointments done, whatever exams you need, whatever testing. Try to get it done now, no matter what type of insurance you have. I don't care if it's Medicare, I don't care if it's Medicaid, private insurance, managed care, whatever it is. Just go ahead and prioritize that. Like I said, we just don't know how much longer we have. And also, what I want to say is thank you to everyone who has supported the ebooks, that the downloads. I literally just noticed today that there were quite a few purchases, and I will definitely get a thank you out to everyone. So if you're on this live, if you see this later and you purchase, thank you. It's the ebook From Here to There that's really doing well, and it's going to stay under $13 until next week. It goes up next week, which is Black Friday week. So for all the newbies as part of this series, it's under $13. And then there's also a bundle. So and I wanted to show you, I also have something that I love. It's the 300 Things Manifestation Journal and Tracker, and it's really just writing down 300 things that there's some notes in here, or note pages and stuff. 300 things that you want to manifest in your life. The downloadable version plus the accountability workbook is bundled with the From Here to There ebook for an additional 25% off until next week. So go ahead and take care of that. So, okay. Let's get into stay ready so we don't have to get ready. Right. So let's get into our topic at hand. When we think about medical tourism, currently it's, from a financial, monetary standpoint, it's $100 billion industry. People are traveling around the world to take care of their health. It is something that has been going on for many, many years. I've heard people that I worked with, talk about, they were going here to get their teeth done. Now, I'm not talking about cosmetic surgery in this video. So if that's, what you're interested in, you can use these countries as a guide. They may, probably most likely are cheaper as well. But these are healthcare appointments and healthcare testing that we really need to know, how we're doing on the inside and outside. But anyway, it's $100 billion industry. And I'm going to pull something up if I remember later. And it makes sense as to why. The US, the average person spends over $9,000, I think it is, they said, in just regular healthcare fees during the year. That's not including special surgery, stuff like that. But they spend average $9,000. We have, when it comes to death rate, we die younger, we're the least healthy, and we spend the most money on healthcare. So the math is definitely not mathing there. And that's why people are, flying hours upon hours away to get their needs taken care of. And I remember when I was in Thailand, I was at the airport in Thailand, and I met a retired couple, and we just started chit-chatting. I think we were in line. You had to go through some type of special security line. And they were telling me how every year they come to Thailand for 2 to 3 weeks. That's their vacation / medical doctor's appointments, annual doctor's appointments. And they do that every year as they spend the rest of the year really bopping around the world. They were talking about this, the quality of their healthcare. And these are American citizens. These are um, white senior citizens who have healthcare. Like in the US, they're not, these are not people that have to travel to Thailand to be seen by a doctor, but they were talking about the care, the attention to detail, the state of art equipment that they have. Everything was high quality. And so not only is it affordable, you're dealing with doctors that are extra qualified, that are not on the corner, blazing up. And if you didn't see the beginning of the video, I talked about my experiences here in New York. But anyway, so you're getting really good care at a fraction of the cost. And then they also have it set up so when you're getting all these testings, from the scans to the blood work to the this to the that, you are staying in what is often known as a 5-star hotel, or would be classified as a 5-star hotel, where you could get room service. There's restaurants, there's, amenities like pools and gyms and stuff like that. And so not only are you getting high quality care, you're in an environment where it takes away some of the stress and anxiety of having to get all this testing done. But we're going to get more into Thailand in a minute. Many of you know that have been tuning in for the series or seen some of my other videos. I have residency in Mexico, and I know many people that have had their dental work done for a fraction of the cost. And not only have they had it done, they get picked up, they get dropped off. They also, women rave about the OBGYN care that they get there. I'm going to insert a video up here. I did an interview with sweetheart, her name is Ebony, who gave birth. Now, she gave birth in Atlanta to her daughter, and then moved to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and ended up giving birth to her son. And she breaks down the night and day type of care that she received in both circumstances. And I didn't realize the US leads the world in having cesareans. I'm like, how is that even? Why is that even a thing? It just doesn't make sense to me. But like I said, the video will be inserted, and I'll try to link it in the bottom too. But her name is Ebony, and it's a very insightful conversation that we had. And anyone that's concerned about possibly moving abroad, ending up pregnant, oh, what will I do? She will set your mind at ease. And especially with our what happens to Black women while giving birth in this country, it will definitely set your mind at ease. And so yeah, I guess we can just get into the list. And let me just see. Oh, there's some people. I'm sorry, I can't see when I'm looking at a different part of the screen. It's the stress. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, Moni. Hey, Shay. Oh, definitely. Listen, and I appreciate giving it. Like I said, this was only supposed to be a 7-day series, but when I tell you the responses that I've gotten, it's like I truly I couldn't stop. Like there's so much more information I want to give. I don't know how long this is going to go live, every day. As long as I have the energy and God puts it in my heart to do it, then I will continue. So we're definitely committed for the rest of the week. Tomorrow we are talking about passport privilege and how we don't know what the future holds. So we need to take advantage of all of this privilege that our U.S. passport brings. And we're going to talk about some of the changes, the expected changes happening in 2025. And also we'll go over, the revised process of like renewing your passport if you have to, and also what's needed when you apply for one. So we're just going to touch on those tomorrow. And then on Wednesday's going to be, I think, kind of cool. It's going to be for those who are on the East Coast that are up at 10 p.m. I think I've already posted it. There should be you could get notified link. And I think at 8 o'clock, it's scheduled, like the community post is scheduled to go out. But at 10 o'clock, we're going to go over, listen, what the people have been saying in the comments. We're going to go over the good, the bad. I think sometimes like the frequently asked questions are questions that many people have out in the universe world, but some people just don't like asking questions. Some people, just don't know what questions to really ask. So we're going to go over the frequently asked questions, and we're going to go over just to show you some of the type of distasteful, they big mad. They are big mad that we are up here talking about moving to Mexico. They are saying, and I screenshot, you guys probably can't see all of the big mad stuff. You may start to be able to see it because the comments are coming in swiftly. And I don't know how I could keep up with those, but when I see certain really derogatory ones, I go ahead and I get rid of, they go out into the ether, like they get hidden from the channel because we're not here for that. And so what was I going to say? So that's what we're going to do on Wednesday at 10 p.m. So, bring your libations, if it's water, if it's tea, whatever it is, as you get ready to end the night, just easy breezy. And if you have questions, directly from me, feel free to come and ask. It should be cool. And so, oh, hey, Tony Africa, new subscriber. Thank you so much. The rest of 2024, it's all about empowering the people. No better way to say it. And I put up a short today about how freedom is really making sure that others are free, or empowering others, I guess, with the knowledge to be free. And that's, I think, what my mission is right now. I really want people to know that there are solutions. And again, even if it's not happening next month, the month after, the planning should start. There should be some seeds planted so that that there's options, so that you're not that far behind. And when I say you, I'm not talking about you specifically, Tony. I'm talking about the people listening. So yeah, I'm a retired U.S. Army disabled veteran. I was told there are facilities there for vets. Are you saying in Thailand? It might be. And you're currently living in Kenya. Oh, I have well, we weren't in class together, but he is Mr. Howard University. I don't know if you know him, but he's out there doing it big in Kenya, and I can't wait to go to visit. So, okay, let's get into the list. Okay, let's get into the list. Okay, oh yeah, you were saying Thailand. Yes, I did hear something about it. I don't know much about the military, but there are certain countries that do have, and I mentioned, which one did I mention yesterday? I have to look through my notes again, but there's one country that calls out, and I want to say, is it the Philippines, Indonesia? I can't remember, but let's get into the list of countries, and I'm going to break down how I'm going to go over this list. So we're going to talk about the countries in alphabetical order. Like I said, there's 7. I might do 8. Like I said, all of this is going in a bigger toolkit, a bigger resource guide. But I'm going to give 7 today, definitely. We're going to talk about the cost of the healthcare compared to the US. We're going to then talk about the average cost for adults annually in that particular country when it comes to healthcare. We're going to talk about the average cost. Well, you'll see how it compares to the average cost of healthcare for adults in the US, which I said over 9,000 is actually anywhere between 10,000 and 15,000 US. And all of the dollar amounts will be discussed in dollar terms, US dollar terms. We're going to compare the cost of an MRI, just a regular MRI, in that country against the US, and I'll let you know the percent discount, so to speak, that you'll have. And then I think the final, we'll also talk about the average cost of a root canal, because dental is, important for us as well, even though, some people say root canals are not, healthy. but just to see what the cost is like. We're going to also quickly look at the cost of giving birth in that country. And then we'll quickly mention the requirements. Most of the requirements are the same. So that column, will definitely go by really quick. So we're going to start first with Costa Rica. And again, this is in alphabetical order. Yes, Troy. I may pull up our picture. Like we have some pictures from Howard together. Yes. So I definitely want to come. He makes it look like the place to be. I think I mentioned that, like that's high on my list to visit. And I may need to find out because I just found out I might not be able to get the yellow fever shot because I developed a egg allergy. But anyway, we'll talk more about that. That kind of has to do with healthcare, but let's get into Costa Rica. So Costa Rica, when it comes to the cost of healthcare as compared to the US, we're looking at 50 to 70% less expensive than the US. That's just overall healthcare. How much does the average adult in Costa Rica spend on healthcare in Costa Rica? Anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000. So that's an average per year. Average healthcare costs for adults in the US, just keep remembering this numbers, it's between $10,000 and $15,000 every year. That's the average across the board. And so, okay, I'll save my commentary for later. Let's look at the cost of an MRI. So if you needed to get an MRI in the beautiful country of Costa Rica, anywhere from $250 to $500 US. And 500 is the high end. And just to put that in perspective, I know a family member who was recently quoted a $1,700 or $2,000 copay for an MRI here in the US. Luckily, he had options, like, he got second when you go get a second opinion and all of that. And he had options because he is in the or he's a veteran of the military. But imagine spending $2,000 for a copay for an MRI. And I don't think it was a full body image, but anyway, next up is a root canal. Oh, did I say it's MRIs compared to the US is 50 to 70% cheaper in Costa Rica? And if you're looking at a root canal, it's anywhere between 70 and 80% cheaper, with a standard cost of anywhere between $300 and $600. And anyone who's got quoted for a root canal knows that you're starting in the thousands for a root canal here in the US. And the average cost of giving birth is 70% cheaper in Costa Rica, anywhere between $4,000 and $7,000. Now, what are the requirements for US citizens to be able to partake in any of this discounted medical tourism in Costa Rica? There's no major restrictions. This is a very popular destination for dental and cosmetic surgery. So if you're looking at Costa Rica for dental and cosmetic, there are tons of resources. They even have brokers that help you plan from A to Z. And some of those will be listed in the mega resource guide that will be available after, hopefully at the beginning of December, when some of these countries release more information about their residency guidelines for 2025. But you do need to have a valid passport with a tourist visa with up to 90 days on that visa. So if you are coming for any type of medical treatment, that's what they ask of you. I don't know how they really test that, or, but if something happens to you, God forbid, and you have to stay longer than that 90 days, then it just becomes complicated. So you don't want that. So next up is India. Now, many people don't think about India as a destination for medical tourism. But if you go to most of these major hospitals, who do you see as doctors? I mean, I have doctors that are of Indian descent, and really, really good doctors. And so it's the same in India. There are highly qualified medical professionals that people travel to. They go to India to get the whatever healthcare needs taken care of at, listen to this, 80 to 90% discount off of what it would cost here in the US on average. So I know there's some places that may be a little cheaper, like New York and California may be more expensive, but the point is, on average, you're looking at 80, 90% savings in India for your healthcare cost. And if you're looking at the average cost of healthcare for adults in India for the year, between $200 and $600. Between $200 and $600. Most of us spend that in a weekend going to a brunch and a dinner. Like that is just amazing. And like I said, compare that to the US where it's 10,000 to 15,000 per year on average. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense that we were not put up on game. And when I say we, I mean me, put up on game from a little child. When you're talking about getting an MRI in India, the cost of an MRI is between $100 and $250. Let me repeat that. It's between $100 and $250. It's even cheaper than Costa Rica. So that's 80 to 90% cheaper than the cost of a US MRI in the US. A root canal is 80 to 90% cheaper. We're looking at anywhere between $150 to $400 in total out of pocket. And that's how come some people say when they travel and they have to go to the, doctor, they don't even try to go through their insurance. It's like they'll just pay out of pocket because it's so inexpensive compared to the US. And now if we're looking at giving birth, then it's anywhere between 2,000 and 4,000 US, which is still 80 to 90% cheaper. And this is a regular birth. We're not talking triplets and C-section and, all of that. This is just based on a standard birth. And so when it comes to restrictions, once again, there's no major restrictions for medical tourists in India. Valid passports. And then for some procedures, you may need a medical visa. If it's a surgery that is pre-planned, then you may need a specific, depending on the type of surgery. If it's a major surgery, they want you to have a medical visa for those types of surgeries. Now, next we're going to go into, let me see if there's any questions because I can't see. Hold on 1 minute. Yeah, no, the last one was, Troy from Howard University. Okay, so next is Korea. And do me a favor if you're watching, because I always forget to do this, but it's important to make sure this video gets out to more people. If you could go ahead and like this video, please just hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, just hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And this helps to the algorithm, be like, oh, let me push it out to more people and more people get this free information. So back to Korea. Korea is 30 to 40% less expensive. Now, that may not sound like a lot compared to, me just talking about India, but 30 to 40% off when you're talking thousands of dollars is still a lot of money. If you're talking about the annual cost that for healthcare that the average person pays in Korea, it's only 2,000 to 4,000. Compared again to the 10 to 15,000 in the US. If you're looking at the standard cost for an MRI, it's anywhere between 500 to 800 US dollars. Still quite affordable compared to the United States. And if you're looking at a root canal, it gets a little bit more costly. It's anywhere between $600 to $1,000 out of pocket. But again, it's still heavily discounted, close about 40% at the high end cheaper than the US. And then if you're looking at childbirth, it's between 5,000 and 8,000, which is usually about 50% cheaper than the US. And the great thing is you get the discount, right? When I say you get the discount, it's cheaper. You also get to take a vacation, right? So for what you would have probably spent here in the US, and I'm not talking like we're not talking like major surgeries where the hospital will assume, not the hospital, your insurance may assume, up to 80%. We're talking about standard, standard procedures that are overpriced here. Let's just put it that way. So what are the restrictions? Strict regulations on the types of procedures eligible for insurance reimbursement. So they do have eligibility. They do have insurance reimbursement eligibility. It's just you have to get that basically okayed beforehand and know exactly which ones are not part of their reimbursement. But again, it's even if you have to pay out of pocket, we're talking 50% less in some instances, 40% less than others. And the requirements are just a valid passport and a short stay visa up to 90 days. That's it. Next up is Malaysia. Now, Malaysia is a beautiful metropolitan, well, let's say Kuala Lumpur. Malaysia is a beautiful metropolitan city. Kind of reminds me of a clean New York, meaning there's so many amenities, there's so much to do, and they're very progressive, meaning state of the art this, state of the art that. Like they're very, it's not an antiquated city. And so that's where a lot of people do their medical tourism in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. And they also have brokers there that help you from point A to point Z through the process. Now, I will say, once again, similar to Korea, it's not the cheapest. We talked about 80 to 90% off, but it's still 50 to 70% less expensive than the US, and a great place to, visit. If we're talking about what the average adult in Kuala Lumpur or in Malaysia spends on medical healthcare, it's anywhere from 500 to 2,000 per year. Comparing that once again to the 10,000 to 15,000 per year, it's still a fraction of the cost. If you're talking about a MRI, it's anywhere between 200 to 400 US dollars for an MRI. And there are some outliers. I want to say that about all of these. Like there may be some more boutique-ish type facilities that may cost a premium for whatever reason. Maybe the doctor is so, he's like, or she may be like Dr. Pimple Popper, right? Somebody who is high demand, who's like a celebrity in their own right. There may be some outliers, I'm sure there are outliers, but just in general, know that these are the numbers. Now, if you're looking at a root canal, it's anywhere from 300 to 600 US dollars. And then if you're looking at giving birth, it's anywhere, and the root canal is 70 to 80% less than a US root canal. And then the same with giving birth, it's about 70% cheaper, coming in at $3,000 to $6,000. And what are the restrictions? Some procedures may require referral letters from local doctors. And that's it. I do have a video that I'm going to do about different types of global health insurance. And if you get the From Here to There resource guide, there's direct links that you can do your own research for global health insurance for people who travel, for people who relocate. And you could do your own research and see, based on your age, your health status and all of that, what a premium would cost you and what it would cover. So with Malaysia, You may need a referral letter from local doctors, but as far as entry, just a valid passport, no special visa required for medical tourists. Now, let's talk about Mexico real quick. We've been talking about Mexico a lot, and then after Mexico, we only have 2 more to go. Mexico is a very popular place for people to get medical tourism done, and it's because they have so many cities within the country that offer great quality healthcare. Mexico City is very well known for their medical, from dental to everything else, surgeries, all that good stuff. It's a very cosmopolitan city once again, and there's money in Mexico City, and they have really great facilities. The same with if you go to the west, if you're talking about the Puerto Vallarta area, the same thing. They know that it's one of the more expensive cities within Mexico, and their healthcare facilities there that cater to that. The same with Cancun and the Quintana Roo area, which also includes Playa del Carmen. Very great health facilities there. And a lot of people cross the border just for that. Similar to Canada, I hear Canada, I've done research that their healthcare medical tourism, even though they're number one, I think as of last year for medical tourism, that number is dwindling, and they're supposed to have changes to their healthcare system. And there's been a lot of people complaining about what's going on with their healthcare system. So I didn't include them on this list. And for the purposes of picking 7, if you are interested in making a move sooner than later, then these would be the top 7 that I would research more into. Okay, so Mexico is 40 to 60% less expensive overall in healthcare than the United States. The average person spends anywhere from $1,500 to $4,000 per year on healthcare. Again, comparing that to the US, where it's $10,000 to $15,000 per year, tremendous savings. If you're looking at a MRI, wow, oh, yes. Because I know 2 people that had to get MRIs. MRIs are anywhere between $300 to $600 USD, which is 40 to 60% cheaper. Now there are some, make sure, if you're looking at Mexico to go and get some type of imaging and testing, just make sure that the interpretation of the results come with it. Because I did hear that some people didn't realize it was an extra cost at some places. Now, this isn't every place that you have to pay. You pay one place for the actual testing, but then there's another place that actually does the results and reporting of the results that you have to pay. But it's still a small number, but $300 to $600 for the MRI. For a root canal, it's anywhere from $300 to $700 USD, which is 60 to 70% cheaper. And then for giving birth, it's $4,000 to $6,000, which, again, I talked about Ebony's story, which will be linked in the description, as well as at the beginning of this video. Check out her story, and she will tell you their savings and their retired military, I want to say. Yeah. And so what are the restrictions for Mexico? Few restrictions, but some states, did I say cities? Yeah. So some states, right. So Jalisco is where Guadalajara is. Now, Guadalajara has universities. It's the second biggest city behind Mexico as far as population, right? Or no, square footage. They have very reputable facilities, but each state, so Quintana Roo may be different from Jalisco, the state of Jalisco. And so some states require pre-approval for certain surgeries. So if you're going to have a major surgery, that's something that will require additional research on your part, depending on the surgery. So, I don't know. I'm just going to throw something out there. I'm sure if you need something like an amputation or something like that, then there's other steps that need to be taken. So just do your research if it's something more serious than just a regular, I need to, get my gallbladder removed or something like that. Okay, so what are the requirements for entry? Just a valid passport, no visa required for stays under 180 days. So they'll stamp you for up to 180 days in most instances. I think I probably would try to get a visa if I wasn't sure how long my recovery would be for whatever the procedure is. But I know people who go for dental there and they're back home within the week. So if it's easy breezy, you should have no problem. So let me just see before we go over the last two. Okay, perfect. So Thailand is the next to last one that we're going to review. And when it comes to actual cost, we're looking at 70% to 80% discount. Well, not discount, cheaper than the US. The average cost of healthcare per year for adults in Thailand is between $500 and $200 USD. Comparing that to the US, which is 10 to 15,000. If you're looking for MRI, it's 70 to 80% cheaper. Prices ranging between 200 and 500 USD. If you're looking for a root canal, it's 70 to 80% cheaper, 250 to 500 USD. And giving birth is anywhere between 3,000 and 6,000. 70 to 80% cheaper. What is required? Some clinics may not offer advanced medical procedures due to limited insurance coverage. Now, I always say cash is king and queen and prince and princess. So if you're paying out of pocket, that may reduce whatever some of these restrictions are in Thailand. But when it comes to entry requirements, you just need a valid passport. But if it's something significant, you just need a valid passport with the standard tourist visa. But if it's a major surgery, then you may need a medical visa. And then finally, it's Turkey. So Turkey is very well known for their medical tourism and also known for the cost. And similar to Thailand, they have places that are like resorts that they pick you up in a car. There's some people on social media that have shared their experiences. They'll get picked up at the airport in a Sprinter van and taken to this, to their hotel, which is connected to the facility. And then they get every type of test that they need done from, most of these are women that I've seen. So definitely OBGYN, the standard, extensive blood work, the x-rays, the CAT scans, all of that, they get done for a small fraction of what it would cost here. And so when we are talking about, did I mention I forgot where I left off. So if you're looking at the MRIs, 200 to 400 USD, which is 60 to 80% less. If you're looking for a root canal, it's $300 to $600, which is 60 to 80% cheaper. And if you're looking at giving birth, then it is 3,500 to 6,500, which is about average is 70% cheaper. You just need a valid passport and a medical visa if you're staying over 90 days. If you don't need to stay over 90 days, then you just need a valid passport. And there's no major restrictions, but pre-surgery evaluations may be required. So those are the seven. Those are the seven countries that are wildly popular with Americans and even Canadians traveling to and fro to have surgeries done. I even know, like I said, we're not really going to talk about cosmetic surgery, but there's this whole thing about hair transplants in Turkey for both male and female. And that's a big thing there as well. And so if there's any interest in you trying to find a location, even if you don't want to call it home full time, if there's some place that you want to spend a couple months at, these maybe should rank. And then there's others, like I said, but these are the most popular when it comes to qualified and quality facilities. They're also known, excuse me, I didn't even mention this, when it comes to fertility treatments. Most of these countries that I listed are known to be pretty superior in that area as well. And I want to just make sure. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I definitely want to make sure that that tomorrow, I think I mentioned it, but tomorrow we're going to talk about passports, the privilege of a passport, right? And the changes, the impending changes that are expected as it relates to acquiring a US passport, renewing a US passport, using a US passport. And so we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And then on Wednesday is our late night chit chat where we're going to go through the comments. Oh, and I did say I was going to pull up. Hopefully I can pull it up. We're going to go over the Q&As, the frequently asked questions that have been coming up about this whole Stay Ready so you don't have to get ready series. And so we're going to go over some of the most frequently asked questions. And we're also going to go over the comments from the people that are big mad that we are staying ready so we don't have to get ready. There are some people out here, boy, I don't get it. I don't know why they care what we care about. But I love the people, you want to come on the page and comment. Let's just expose your comment and see what the people think of that. So, so the video, there was a quick video that I wanted to share, and it talks about, how bad the U.S. Healthcare system is and how bad they're expecting it to get. And so let me see. I thought I saved it, but nope. Healthcare. I think it was NBC. And you know what? What I'll do is this is what I'll do. I'll take a screenshot. Or did I take a screen? Oh, I can't share the screenshot. I can only share the page. I think I took a screenshot, which can tell me exactly where the page is. But if I can't find it really quickly if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'm going to check one more time before I click off. Oh, I found it. Okay, now let's see. Okay, I'm going to read what it says, then I'm going to try to pull it up. So if you have to leave, at least you can Google this and watch the video later. But it says people in the US die the youngest and experience the most avoidable deaths, despite spending much more on healthcare. Like, if we are not being hoodwinked and bamboozled, I swear this is definitely, it's horrible. And then the other subheadline says U.S. ranks last in healthcare compared with 9 other high-income countries, which we talked about. And then people in the U.S. die the youngest and experience the most avoidable deaths, even though the country spends nearly twice as much. So I'm see if I could pull this up. And then if I can, we could just look at it together. If I can't, you can, you know what I'll do? I'll just leave the link in the description. I'll leave the link in the description because I think it may take me a minute to then connect and reconnect and all that good stuff. So let me just see where we are. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, QB Boogie. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good to see you. Yeah, that literally, that is fueling my passion to keep amplifying this message, because we are literally being so taken advantage of. And then that also leads to stress and anxiety. And I know so many people that have been, if not wiped out, but some have been wiped out. Some have been completely, knocked in the knees and an emergency popped up, and then they weren't expecting it, and a family member either didn't have insurance or whatever. But this healthcare system will break everything that you built if you do not plan right. So of course emergencies happen, but and that's what's going to happen more next, I won't say next year, I don't know when the laws will be passed, but once these new laws are implemented, because they already told us what they're going to do, then yeah, it's going to get even worse. And they do not care about the elderly. They do not care about people with pre-existing conditions. So we just have to stay ready so we don't have to get ready. So something pops up, you got your passport. You know which countries you can target based on whatever pops up or whatever your needs are. And then, it's handled, as Olivia Pope would say. So anyway, I don't think there's any more questions. I thank everyone for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing everyone tomorrow who can join at 7, who wants to hear about the whole changes with the passport situation and traveling. Oh, hey, Moni. Where can I get the information about the global insurance? So it should be, I always try to remember, but I often forget. Before the live starts, I try to link all of the ebooks that are available. So it's called From Here to There. And like I said, it's under $12. It includes more than just the global health insurance. I'll tell you exactly what it includes. It includes, so I'm going to have to go. I'm on a MacBook right now. I'm just going to tell the story because I got to look this thing up. I'm on a MacBook right now, and I usually go live when I do go live from a Windows, HP, and I started going live from this MacBook. And when I tell you, every time I try to link something, it says I can't link. I have to sign into something, or I have to go to Chrome, or I have to go to another search engine. It doesn't accept Safari. So it's been, a learning lesson, but I think so far, for this to be so impromptu, I'm absolutely positively okay with the little snafus. So I just want to quickly tell you what's in so what you'll get, it's a list of 8 safe countries with large expat communities, visa and immigration resources for these communities. And I'm going to list the 8 in a second. Cost of living resources. And the video that I did last week, it was either Sunday or Monday, we went over examples of how to use one of the resources to compare cost of living, a list of expat communities and forums, the health insurance links for global health insurance, language learning resources. So if you're interested in learning a language, and none of these have, like, I'm not affiliated with any link here at all. And then moving and relocation resources. So when you're ready to pack up and move internationally, there's resources, because you can't, shipping is different, all that other stuff. So and the countries that are included are Canada, Costa Rica, Kenya, Mexico, Panama, Portugal, South Africa, and the United Kingdom. And so you just hit the link, and it's a downloadable copy. How many pages? It's easy. It's like easy peasy. It is 25 pages. Oh no, excuse me. Yes, 25 pages. But again, most of them are just clickable links with descriptions, and it's easy. It's a very easy resource, but for the average person, it would take some time to compile. And so it was just something I put together. So thanks again for sharing. Hey, Shay Jones, about to read up. Yeah. And I'm going to include that link from the NBC story that was done about basically how we're being hoodwinked and bamboozled. We're paying to die or sooner. That's what's happening. So people are getting rich off of us dying. And so, yeah. So anyway, it is 8:05. Oh my gosh. I keep saying I want to keep these. First it was 30 minutes. Then it went to 40 minutes. Now we're at an hour. But yeah, so Wednesday, I know it's probably going to be longer than, it'll probably at least be an hour, because again, I'm going to have a list of the questions, the comments. I'm going to take questions, and hopefully we'll have a conversation. And I might even, if anybody wants to, come up on the stage, I would love to, start having conversations. I'm still, my mind is spinning on how I can do it on a regular basis, because I think this conversation and this amplification is going to be necessary for the foreseeable future. As things start to really, really unfold, So again, this was impromptu. It was like one day I was like, I got to do this. I'm going to do 7 days straight. I started that day, did the 7 days. And during that journey, it was like, okay, no, there's way much more to, discuss. And so thank you, Moni. And so, yeah, so we're just going to keep it going. This week, last week, I just had to get in where I fit in. I didn't know when I was going to go live. I had, I was trying to figure it out. This week, the schedule is tomorrow at 7, Wednesday at 10, Thursday at 7, and Friday. It's either going to be 10 or 11 in the morning. It's probably going to be 10 in the morning. But again, by Thursday night, I will post in the community exactly what time. So anyway, so thanks again. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I think most of you have. And just share this. I mean, send it to a friend, like, especially, a friend that may be afraid to go to the doctor because of financial reasons. Like, literally, you could get a round trip from most places in the US to some part of Mexico for under $300 during certain times, right? And so you just have to work it out. You just have to plan it out. I just can't stress that enough. This is so doable, and people have been doing it for years, and we just have to catch up. That's it. And so again, this isn't even about relocating. It's not about moving abroad. This is about making sure we can take care of our health, because how this channel really started getting traction was through my health content. I'm a firm believer that, we need to do better. And so, health is definitely, without health, I hear this comment all the time. How is it you don't have any, you may not think you have any problems until you have a health problem. I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, that's just to say health is definitely needs to be primary for us to, not just survive, but thrive. Who wants to be on medication for the rest of our lives? And so I started talking about sea moss and the negative side effects that sea moss had on me because I got wrong information from the internet. I was seeing people taking 2 teaspoons for lunch, breakfast, and dinner, and I didn't realize that I had a negative reaction. And when I tell you, you had people coming out the woodwork. I call them the CMOS gang. It was like CMOS gang gang. You cannot say nothing bad about CMOS. And my whole reason for telling the story is because I know there's somebody else out there seeing the same information that doesn't realize that iodine content in CMOS can be detrimental. You can overdose on it. And my heart started racing like I knew I was out of here. And it was because I was ODing on the CMOS. And I said that in the video, but people, child, anyway. So that video took off. And then my video about soursop bitters, which I think, well, soursop in general, if you can access fresh, natural soursop, I can't here in the US, in New York. But when I'm in Grenada, when I'm away and I'm a tropical place and they have soursop, I am trying to eat it. I'm trying to OD on the soursop, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so if you read about soursop and the benefits, and then someone that I met personally in Grenada, and she's from Chicago, a white lady from Chicago, told me how soursop changed the whole trajectory of her best friend. I'm not even gonna say the word on here because, you know, they be listening. So, but yeah. So anyway, saying all that to say, part of my focus on this channel is health. The other part is travel, and the other part is finances. I do believe I'm a long-term investor. I've been investing in the market for a very, very long time. What I know for sure is that only a small fraction of us invest in the market. And so a lot of my content in the beginning was centered around that too. But this right here is another area that we just need to get the message out. So if I tell you, you tell them, they tell others, and this is how things change. So anyway, how much is how much is in CMOS? Hey, Fallen Sky, Homesteading and Preparedness channel. Oh my goodness, I love that. I absolutely love that. I need to start homesteading, but I'm in an apartment, so that's hard. But anyway, how much iodine? I guess you're asking. It's, I think, the most iodine rich natural, what is it? Sea moss is a plant, right? It's the most iodine rich natural plant that there is. And iodine, like I said, taking too much of it can be detrimental. And so I also found out that I had node on my thyroid, which they say, you know, it comes with aging, right? So it's not something, they monitor it once a year, whatever. But iodine and CMOS can make it grow. Basically, it can give you thyroid issues. Some people develop hypothyroidism. Some people develop hyperthyroidism, and some people are allergic to CMOS and they don't know it. So they'll take CMOS, have all these other effects, and like, oh, I still feel bad, but I'm taking this CMOS. It may be because you have an allergy to it. So my video was strictly because there were so many videos, and this was over 2 years ago, talking about, oh, take CMOS, take that. But there were none talking about, well, this person really shouldn't take it. And this person, you may be able to take it, but maybe once a week and not every day. So that was my lesson that I learned, and I was sharing it with other people. And so I think that video is like over 150,000 views. I think, haven't looked in a minute. And then, yeah, so anyway, so I will be back tomorrow with the passport, because I also believe anyone who can get a passport needs a passport, period. And through my Black Travel and Culture platform last year, I gave away multiple passports to people, their first timers. And so we had raffles. I think every quarter, I want to say. And it was fun. And we did it over on TikTok. And I probably will bring that back again, but not until January, because I want to do this. I don't want to spread myself too thin, because that takes some engaging and some, but definitely follow on TikTok, because I am going to start repost. I paused a little because I noticed leading up to, that big Tuesday, they definitely start. I have 171,000 followers on TikTok. Only 300, 400 people were seeing my content. And this was happening for a minute. And then I was hearing about others. And because I have Black in the name, so it's Black Travel and Culture, there was definitely some hiding going on. So I'm going to start again. Things are hopefully dwindling down a little, but I'm going to start there again and start picking back up on the passport giveaway, because, I know for some people it could be somewhat cost prohibitive, but I always say this: if somebody told you that if you can get $130 by the end of the month, I will give you $10 million, guess what? You will find $130. And let's just, I like to round it up, because you also have to get the photo, right? And then you may have to travel to the place and all of that. So let's just say $160. Somebody told you within 2 weeks, hell, if somebody told you by tomorrow you needed to get $160, and if you don't, or to get this $10 million, and there were no other strings attached, I promise you, you would be up all night figuring out how to get that $160, and hopefully the legal way, right? But I just think people prioritize what they want to prioritize. And then I do believe, I'm here to be a vessel when I can and help others when I can. So that's why we did the passport giveaway. And some of the one lady who won, oh my gosh, she was just so thankful. She was a young mom. I believe she has multiple children, and it's always been a dream for her to travel. That's right, Shay. Skipping the gas bill and calling off to get my passport. Yes. I mean, like I said, we prioritize a lot of times things that we want to prioritize. And I don't want to make light of people that are struggling, because I know for a fact that that's a real thing. And I'm not saying if, you're having a hard time feeding your family, that this is not something this is something that's, going to be a challenge. And especially if you have to get from multiple people in your family. So I get that. But then there's some people that will say they don't have the money for the passport, but I swear they spend $200 a month getting their nails done. So again, I just hopefully, oh, yay, Fallen Sky Homesteading and Preparedness Channel. Thank you. I love to hear that. You just, even though you did it already, I'm just saying I love to hear that you just got all of your kids their passports and planning a trip to Africa. Yay. Listen, when my family now, when it comes to the holidays, if they already have a passport, then the other option they get is a share of stock somewhere, or maybe two, depending on how much the price is for that particular share. But that's it. No more. Now, if they're babies, I might get them a toy. The gas company can't wait. You got that right, Shay Jones, because we about to hit some turbulent waters, and nobody knows exactly what day or when. But if you don't plan to fail, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So we need to all plan just in case. That's all. And there is power in the passport, the US passport right now, and for the foreseeable future. But I do know without it, your options are limited. And even from a identification standpoint, like forget a driver's license, like we all need passports for ID purposes, period. And they last for 10 years. So we're talking $13 a year. So, I mean, and the prices will probably go up just to make it even more hard for certain people to get them. So anyway, I kind of want to do a conspiracy theory night, but we'll figure that out later too, because there's some things that, I think are percolating, and I hear are percolating, and I believe are percolating from some reliable sources. And I think we just don't realize, like, you know, I say don't, we don't have fear, but we definitely are going to prepare, right? We're not going to be caught out there without, that's my pen, without having options. And so, anyway, but thank you guys once again for tuning in. I will see hopefully all of you tomorrow. If not, definitely Wednesday at 10. Again, we'll be back Thursday at 7. Then we'll be back on Friday at like 10 in the morning, 10 or 11. Saturday, I haven't decided the time. I'm supposed to go to a concert Friday night. So it'd probably be later on Saturday, but we'll see. So anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a good night. And listen, let's stay ready so we don't have to get ready. Take care, everybody. Check out your healthcare options too. Take care and get those appointments and your parents' appointments and the kids' appointments and the medicine and all that good stuff. All right. Talk to you guys. Good night, Moni. Talk to everyone tomorrow.